All right, and now for the final 2 pages of your review. So number 14 says, look at the table above and create an equation that can be used to find distance traveled for hours passed. So if we look at the table, this is a ratio table, and we can see that in 3 hours, they go 60 miles, 5 hours, 100, 7 hours, 140 miles. So, question is, how am I going to find the distance with hours? Well, I can see here that to get from 3 to 60, I'm multiplying by 20. From 5 to 100, I'm multiplying by 20. From 7 to 140, I'm multiplying by 20. So to find my distance traveled, I take my number of hours and multiply it by 20. So my answer is A. And then if we wanted to substitute to check our work, so what is the distance in 3 hours? So I'm going to substitute in 3 for H, and I get 60, which is exactly what the table tells me. So I know that that one is correct. 15. Which expression is equivalent to 1/2 times 8x plus 6 plus 3x plus 12? Okay, so for this problem, there's a few things at play here. One, we've got some distributive property. Write this all down. We've got distributive property. I can see that there are multiple terms with x, so we're going to be looking at like terms. And I guess also order of operations, right? These are the things that we need to keep in mind. So order of operations, I know I have to multiply first before I add anything. So here's where the distributive property comes into play. I need to multiply both of these values by 1/2, the number on the outside. 1/2 times 8 is 4. So this would turn into 4x, and 1/2 times 6 is 3. So after I multiply this out, this turns into 4x plus 3. And then I'm going to keep these other terms. These were not in the parentheses, so these just kind of stay here. All right. And now I've got this addition equation, or addition expression rather, of 4 terms. And now I have to combine like terms. So like terms are numbers that either have the same variable or don't have a variable at all. So I can see 4x and 3x both have a variable, so those can be combined, and that would make 7x. And 3 and 12 are both numbers without a variable, so those can be combined. So 7x plus 15 is my answer, and that is B. Number 16, which expression is equivalent to 2 times 5x plus 2 plus 6x plus 4? So same process as before. I need to go ahead and multiply out to do my distributive property. 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times 2 is 4. These other terms weren't in the parentheses, so they remain unchanged. Once again, I've got 2 terms with x's, so those can combine. Then I have 2 terms without x's, so those can combine. And A would be my answer there. And the final page. So, what equation can be used to model the total distance y that is traveled in x hours? So, here is my x-axis. Here is my y-axis. Alright, so y takes the time. So here's 1 hour. And in 1 hour, it looks like I go 50 miles. In 2 hours, it looks like I go 100 miles. In 3 hours, 150. So for every hour, I go 50 miles. So that would mean that my speed is 50 miles per hour. And that also means that I'm taking the hours and multiplying them times 50. And the only one that represents multiplication here is D. So once again, let's say I wanted to find out how far I'd go in 4 hours. I'm going to plug in or substitute 4 in for X. And I would get 200 miles. And let's see if that's true. 4 hours, 200 miles. So yep, this works. That is the correct equation. Okay. So why is that correct? Because the speed is 50 miles per hour. You must multiply each hour by 50 to find the total distance. And the final problem, similar, price of pineapples. So we need to find an equation that will work here. So, number of pineapples. 1 pineapple costs $2. 2 pineapples costs $4. 3 pineapples costs $6. Now let's mark a couple points there. So, once again, I'm taking the number of pineapples. I can see, let's make a unit rate. 1 pineapple is $2. So for each pineapple, that means I have to multiply by 2 to find the price. So the only equation that works here is 2x. So once again, let's say I want to find the price of 5 pineapples. I would substitute 5 in for x. And that would be $10. And is 5 pineapples $10? Yes, it is. So this is the correct equation.